December 15th, Rich is on a plane to Bern, Switzerland to host Race to the World First Vault for World of Warcraft on the Echo channel. Meanwhile, his girlfriend is having a viral moment on a clip discussing his obsession with wanting to see her pregnant.
100%. Okay. You have a type.
He has a pregnant fetish. He really wants to get me pregnant.
Ooh, that's kind of hot though.
He has a what?
He wants to get me pregnant.
324, he tweets, just had an awkward conversation with my parents that started with, "We were on Instagram." He replies to a random person at 3:35 saying, "Bro, I'm literally flying to Switzerland to play WoW right now." Someone's not so happy about his girlfriend's viral moment.
Hey, my name is Ailia Lexi.
Former lover Ailia Lexi goes onto her Twitter account and
okay, hey, all right. First off, look, I don't care what other people do, what other people are into. Look, man, some people like feet, some people like ass, some people like getting pissed on, some people like getting shit on. Look, man, I don't care what you're into as long as it's legal and consensual. You want to have a pregnant fetish? You want to have a foot fetish? Look, man, it's none of my business, okay? You do you. I'm not trying to police others. I'm not trying to judge others. Now, me personally, I hate kids. I never want kids. I don't have a pregnant fetish, okay? I don't like to get pissed on. I don't like to get shit on. That's just me. I'm not into that type of stuff. If you are, more power to you. You know what I'm saying?
accuses right now. Someone's not so happy about his girlfriend's viral moment.
Hey, my name is Ailia Lexi.
Okay.
Former lover Ailia Lexi goes onto her Twitter account and accuses Rich of assault. She posts, "I know Mia Malkova isn't lying about Rich Campbell's pregnancy fetish because he said he wanted to get me pregnant while he assaulted me and then sent me to the street at 3 a.m. by myself with nowhere to go."
Okay, now to my knowledge, they were fuck buddies for years. Now I didn't like dig into this, but I did follow this a little bit. They had this like on and off thing.
11:46 the next day, Ailia posts a tweet longer accusing OTK founder
I remember
Rich
this.
Campbell of the most heinous crime a man can
I
commit
remember
against
this.
a woman. At this point, Rich is live on air. He seems agitated, continuously checking his phone. What we now know is during the break, he gets a phone call from a high-ranking member at OTK letting him know about the tweet longer. He then goes back to recording. At the end of the set, he gets another phone call that changed his life from the same person at OTK and someone else. 4:46 p.m. Rich Campbell tweets, "I have read the statements against me today. I will share my side of the story, but I need some time to collect my thoughts. OTK has requested that I resign from my position, and I have agreed. I will make an update soon."
Okay, so this right here, look, man, I'm not on Rich's side. I'm on nobody's side. For people that are saying that this makes him look guilty, this is just OTK wanting to stay the fuck away from this. This is PR shit. This doesn't automatically mean that the allegations against him are true. This is just, whoa, we're not taking any chances. We're staying the fuck out of this. Try to put yourself in the position of an organization. Would you even want to be involved with someone that had any allegations against them? No, you tell them to get the fuck away. And another thing is that for those of you that are like, well, he hasn't responded in a year and a half, I'm going to tell you something right now. Whenever you deal with the law or anything legal in the court system, it takes forever. And I'm not joking. It can take 6 months, a year, 2 years. It takes a lot of time. So just because that he didn't respond for like over a year, that doesn't mean that he's automatically guilty, but people think that it is. Like that's really how long the shit can take sometimes.
Has requested that I resign from my position, and I have agreed. I will make an update soon. 6:06 p.m. OTK tweets, "Rich Campbell has resigned effective immediately, and they stand against sexual harassment and assault, and they thank their community for their support. Rich Campbell's exit."
All right, I'm going to tell you right now, this again is just PR.
"Sexual harassment and assault, and they thank their community for their support." Rich Campbell's exit is another asterisk by OTK, as they were just coming off announcing that Ms. Kiff did not cover up anything with former best friend Crazy Slick assaulting Adriana Lee while she was passed out at a party. Ironically, Ms. Kiff, Crazy Slick, and Adriana Lee have pending defamation case as this video is being recorded. But what if I told you Rich Campbell did not write this tweet? What if Rich did not think that posting it, he was truly resigning from the organization he helped found and help grow, that he did not agree to leave the organization. Today, you will finally get Rich Campbell's side of the story in the form of a defamation lawsuit filed against Ailia Lexi. But before we get to his lawsuit, we gotta cover her lawsuit that she filed against him. Rich Campbell allegations seem to unify.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if it's public information, can you actually look up this court case?
The Twitch community.
Yeah, so I don't know why he blurted out.
Everyone spoke on his allegations and came up with a similar outcome and outlook on the whole situation.
Nowadays, it's kind of scary to be like, hey, I think this person is kind of cool, nice guy, because like 4 years later you find out there's
one of the founders of OTK got exposed for essay and allegation.
I mean, it's a hit at OTK, but I mean, if nobody in the org had prior knowledge and nobody knew, and there's no shot anybody could have known, I mean, there's no point going after OTK.
I believe her account of the events here because they're pretty consistent with the text messages. So, yeah.
The evidence first. I mean, if you're asking a question like this, that either implies that you haven't looked into it at all, okay, because there is plenty of evidence, or you have looked into it and no amount of evidence matters because you just want to fucking deny it.
The allegations must be true because why?
See, this is what so like every single fucking content creator that they showed, they just automatically believed her. I think that's wrong. I think that only hearing one side of the story, I think that's just wrong. We haven't even heard. Now, okay, look, again, I'm not defending Rich. I actually think Rich is probably creepy. But what I'm saying is that they were in a fuck buddy. Okay, look, I've been in an open relationship. I've been in a fuck buddy relationship. I've been in a monogamous relationship. Okay, I've been in a lot of different relationships. In a fuck buddy relationship that they were in for over a year. Now, okay, every relationship's different, blah, 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 you know, but again, we haven't heard his side. I just cannot fathom that you're in a fuck buddy relationship for over a year and you go to your fuck buddy's hotel room at midnight and you don't expect sex. I cannot fathom that, man. Now, look, man, I'm not saying he didn't do anything wrong. He may have. I don't know. All I'm saying, man, is I've only heard one side of the story, and all of those content creators that they showed, they should all shut the fuck up because they haven't heard both sides. How can you be so opinionated? And one guy was like, I don't know, the screenshots look pretty compelling. You know how easy it is to fake a screenshot? You mean consent to no means no? What I'm trying to point out here, how do you know she's not lying? How do you know that he actually did something he wasn't supposed to do? You don't know because you haven't heard his side of the story, and two, you weren't even there. So like automatically believing someone to me is like cringe as fuck. Now I haven't watched the rest of the video, so maybe he admits it in the video. I'm going in with the mentality that I've only heard one side, and I'm not going to automatically believe that one side, even if the other side looks guilty. I don't care if false accusations make up 1%. You think I give a shit? I don't care. That's the mentality that I don't want to have. Is that, oh, well, just because less than 1%, it automatically means that he's a piece of shit. That's stupid. Everyone should want to hear both sides of the story. See, a lot of people have the mentality that he's already guilty and they haven't even heard his side of the story. It's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, not guilty until proven innocent.
Why would he resign? And why would OTK act so swiftly? These lawsuits are likely going to split the audience. One lawsuit, you're going to see Ailia Lexi furthering her case to show that, hey, crime was committed against her. And Rich Campbell will have to pay for that crime in the form of monetary losses. In the other lawsuit, people may see their favorite streamer finally sharing his side of the story, finally speaking out to clear his name, not in the court of public opinion with a twit longer, but in the actual court of law to hold Ailia accountable for allegedly misleading millions of people, making Rich out to be someone he's truly not. The only difference I've seen on the surface of both of these lawsuits is one lawsuit, that's Rich's, may have a witness to clear his name. He also goes into detail on his exit from OTK and gives a side of the story that the world has never saw. Now, we all know someone who was falsely accused of committing a crime, as well as someone who was rightfully accused of breaking the law. And I'm not trying to steer you one way or another when it comes to Rich and Ailia, but I will provide you with all of the publicly, legally obtained information to help you make up your own mind. And all that I ask is that you do not harass either party, but feel free to share who you
The unfortunate thing is, even if he's found not guilty, the damage is done as things won't go back to 100% normal. I don't know. I disagree. I think that after this lawsuit, let's say that he's found not guilty after the lawsuit, he will 100% come back, and he will probably come back stronger, actually.
Support
I don't
at
think
the
so.
end of this video and why.
Yeah, so shut the fuck up.
Before we get into her lawsuit against Rich, let's look at the twit longer, because to my surprise, there's an element in her lawsuit that is 100% absent from her twit longer. Rich and I have a very up and down and off and on friendship and relationship for 4 years that started towards the end of his career on the Call of Duty desk. Our physical relationship started in Columbus, Ohio in 2019 and was a disaster from there. There were several times during the 4 years that he made it clear he only viewed me as a sexual object.
Okay.
But when I would confront him about it, I would get love bombed and gaslit into thinking that he cared about me and wanted to be with me. This would happen during the single periods of my life. As soon as I would be in a relationship, he would text me or call me. I would tell him I was seeing someone else. After he lied to me about having a girlfriend for an extended amount of time in June of 2021, I didn't speak to him or see him until he called me asking to apologize around the end of July, beginning of August. I also had a deep love for Rich as a person and friend. As the beginning of our friendship, he was there for me like not a lot of people are. So I gave him another chance to be friends. He told me he would prove to me that he was working on being a better person and that he wanted to be in my life.
All of this stuff, I need to hear his side. I'm also not saying she's lying either. Like, I want to be perfectly clear. Like, I'm not automatically assuming that she's lying. I don't. I'm just saying that I need to hear his side of it too.
In October, he began his typical antics and begged me to come to Texas around his subathon. I said no because I did not think it was appropriate to stay with him because I did not want to sleep with him and that I did not trust him. He also came to LA in December of 2021 and asked to see me, but mainly was only asking me to come to his hotel. I said no due to the fact that I was not interested in having sex with him. There was not much communication until I was at French restaurant AOC in the Upper East Side on January 30th of this year with 2 girlfriends. As the night came to an end around 12 a.m., I Ubered to Rich's apartment in Williamsburg because he asked to see me. We were in the movie theater in his building and talking, and he repeatedly kept attempting to get me to lay on him. I repeatedly said, I'm not here to sleep with you, and I don't want that. At one point in the theater, he said, I think tonight is the last time I'm going to see you.
Okay.
After trying to speak to him for an hour about our relationship and the awful way he treated me, he just continued to deflect and said that there's no reason to talk about it because it made him feel bad. He said that we couldn't stay in that room and we needed to go up to his apartment per the apartment rules. I said I don't trust that, and he promised me that was the situation, that nothing would happen, and was respecting the boundary I set. We go upstairs and he starts talking about how hot it would be if I got pregnant. Now the next part I can't say because YouTube would bury this video. Afterwards, I called my friend who I was staying with.
Oh man, hold on, wait a minute. Would YouTube mute that? What the fuck? Why would YouTube mute that? This is just one thing that I don't understand. Like, you've been fuck buddies with this guy for years. You're in a relationship or whatever, but you still like go to his house. You still say you're going to stay with. I don't know, man. There's just something about this. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. I would need to hear his side, because what if his side, it was like clearly like a bunch of lies, right? Like, it was very obvious, you know, like shit didn't add up or something. But like this right here, this makes him look very, 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 very bad. But there's also some stuff that I question here as well.
He starts talking about how bury this video. Afterwards, I called my friend who I was staying with so I could come back, and she wasn't answering the phone because it was late at night and she was already asleep. Rich said I couldn't stay there. Answering the phone because it was late at night and she was already asleep. Rich said I couldn't stay there. So I called the hotels around New York City looking for a cheap room. I asked her for the nearest subway and it was a 20-minute walk. Without saying anything to him, I left. Okay. I cried in his lobby, and as he texted me, "You okay?" I never replied. I left. I went to a sketchy hotel in Chinatown.
Okay, now I'll tell you what. This to me kind of sounds like Rich texting somebody, "You okay?" I don't know why that sounds to me like something he would do, but I mean, I don't know if he actually did it, but that sounds like something that he would do.
Processed it by myself.
You good?
I left New
You
York
okay?
the next day and never spoke to Rich again. Now, after she posted her tweet longer, she got a ton of backlash. But people like, Charlie and Asmongo came to
Ton of backlash. I don't remember her getting a ton of backlash, but I guess maybe that's because I didn't follow it as much as other people. But
her defense, and I agree with the statements that they made.
You are not on our team. You are not helping us. You are not doing us any favors or doing anyone any
Oh, he's talking to the people that are attacking her. Okay, yeah.
favors by calling a girl that comes out and tells this kind of a story a liar.
Saw so many people in the comment section of her making that tweet longer, accusing her of just clout chasing and shit. That is the most terminally online brain dead take ever. Like, there's just legitimately nothing to gain.
See, unless you know something is...
See, that's where I disagree. There is something to gain. She doesn't really have anything to lose. There is something to gain. If she doesn't like him and she makes these claims, then she can cancel him. Like, there's definitely something to gain there. Thinking that there's not is foolish.
Not true. You should not be calling the people a liar. Now, you can suspect that they're maybe dishonest or embellishing, but calling someone as a liar is saying that you have undeniable proof that what they're saying is false.
Yeah.
However, when we get to Rich's lawsuit, he calls her a liar and clout chaser. Here is the lawsuit filed by Alexis. I blocked out her last name because it's not something that's just publicly available. It was filed.
Wait, it's not? I thought it was, but okay.
I blocked out her last name because it's not something that's just publicly available. It was filed on December 4th, and I blocked out his address because in a way it doxes him. Now let's get to the lawsuit. She wants a trial by jury, which is standard. What does she say? Plaintiff Alexa.
I could tell you this right now, trial by jury is very, 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 very unlikely to happen. In defamation cases, trial by jury is insanely rare.
Complaining that the defendant by her attorneys respectfully allege upon information and belief that the following is true. The complaint is based on the defendant Richard Campbell's assault of plaintiff Alexis. The defendant Richard Campbell apartment, again blocked out. There's the parties. Now here are the facts of Richard Campbell apartment.
Plaintiff
apartment, again blocked out. There's the parties. Now here are the facts of the case. On or about the early morning of January 31st, 2022, defendant Richard Campbell invited her to his apartment. Once the plaintiff arrived at his apartment building, he ushered her into the public movie theater.
Okay, so this
building.
Yeah, so this goes along with the twit longer.
So they could hang out. Once inside the movie theater, Campbell made several advances towards her, which she...
But this is from her side, though. This doesn't mean that it's fact. This is what she is claiming that he did to her. She's saying that all of this stuff happened. None of this has been proven, or none of this has been disproven either. This is literally just the legal version of a twit longer.
Denied all of them. Now, the twit longer mentioned this. After an hour or so, defendant Campbell told the plaintiff that they could no longer stay in the movie theater. As per the building's rules, it's going to close soon. Rich Campbell, according to her, then suggested that they should go to his apartment unit instead. She was hesitant to join him in his apartment, but he promised her that nothing sexual would happen. So she decided to join him upstairs. Once inside Campbell's apartment, he began touching himself and begging to be with her.
Yeah, that's the weird shit. Yeah, so apparently in the twit longer, it said that she was like on the bed, like naked or something, and he was like jacking off in a chair.
He began touching himself and begging to be with her.
What's the other thing? Defendant Campbell then attempted to take plaintiff's clothes off, but plaintiff continued to deny sexual advances. Forced himself upon plaintiff and proceeded to have non-consensual, unprotected vaginal intercourse with plaintiff. Campbell then orgasmed inside of plaintiff and told her that she had to leave his apartment.
His apartment, he began touching himself and begging to be with her. He then attempted to take her clothes off, but she continued to deny his advances. Soon after, Campbell...
Dude, what is this? Wow, that seems quick. No conversation. Okay.
Forced himself upon her and committed SA. And he also finished inside. His actions were intentionally done with malice, cruelty, and or deliberate, willful wanton, which is just, intentionally trying to cause harm to her, and reckless indifference to her rights and were done in conscious disregard of the
So all of this is just
probability
in,
that
yeah,
the
so this is
conduct
just
will
her twit
result in
longer,
harm
basically.
to her physical and emotional well-being. His conduct was so outrageous, shocking, despicable, and contemptible that it exceeds reasonable bounds of decency as measured by the average member of the community would tolerate, and demonstrates an utter disregard for the consequences that would follow. As a result, Ailia is entitled to the recovery of both compensatory and punitive damages from the plaintiff, money. By reason of the foregoing, plaintiff has been damaged in a sum that exceeds the jurisdictional limits of all courts would otherwise have jurisdiction, which makes me question why didn't this get filed in federal court. As in for the first cause of action, assault, plaintiff repeats, reiterates, and realleges each and every allegation contained above, as if in the same were set forth more fully at length herein.
I like how people said there was nothing to gain, and yet she's suing him for money. You know, money, you can gain money, right? It just is very weird to me why some people are like, no, she has nothing to gain. She has like everything to gain. What do you mean? She has money. She has canceling him. What do you mean?
In committing the sexual assault described herein, defendant Campbell had the real and apparent ability to cause imminent, harmful, or offensive bodily conduct to plaintiff, and intentionally did a menacing act in threatening such contact to her when
I don't know if she went to therapy.
Was
I'm not
under
sure.
the influence of alcohol and unable to present.
Intentionally did a menacing act that threatened such contact to plaintiff when plaintiff was under the influence of alcohol and unable to provide consent.
Provide consent? This.
Blame it on the alcohol, not mentioned in the twit longer. Okay.
This blame it on the alcohol theory was not mentioned in the twit longer whatsoever that she made a year ago. The sexual assault next.
I mean, honestly, that might not really be like just because she didn't mention something in a twit. Like the thing is I think people take twit longers too serious. And I'm not saying that this guy is. It's good that he's bringing up the differences, right? But just because it's not in the twit longer, but it's in the court document, that doesn't mean that the twit longer is like untrue. Doesn't mean that they just made it up on the spot, like for the legal document. You know what I mean?
Exploitation of Rich Campbell caused apprehension of such contact in plaintiff, which is her. The alleged conduct constituted sexual assault. The alleged conduct constituted a violation as a direct and appropriate result of that intentional, harmful, and offensive
this is about
conduct.
Rich.
Plaintiff has suffered general and special damages. As for the second cause of action, sexual battery, plaintiff repeats, reiterates, and realleges each and every allegation contained above, as if the same were set forth fully in length herein. In committing sexual assault described herein, in committing SA described herein, defendant Campbell touched plaintiff without plaintiff's consent and with the intention of causing.
See, this is the biggest
harmful,
thing, man.
offensive bodily contact.
This is like the biggest thing right here, dude. All of this, like he said, she said, like bullshit and nonsense about, oh, we're fuck buddies. We want to be together. We don't want to be together. They obviously had an understanding of their relationship, or else they wouldn't have been there, or else they wouldn't have had that relationship for years. But the most important thing is that if any point in time, either one of them did not want to fuck and the other one fucked them anyway, like that's, you know what I mean? That's sexual assault. That could have happened like that night.
To the plaintiff, the alleged conduct constitutes battery as a direct and proximate result of the intentional, harmful, offensive contact. She suffered general and special damages. I mean, they tacking on the charges. As for the third cause of action, intentional infliction of emotional distress, we've seen this. She, says, hey, the above is true. He engaged in reckless, extreme, and outrageous conduct by SA-ing her when she was under the influence and unable to provide consent.
See, man, that's weird. Just because it's not in the twit longer doesn't mean that it didn't happen, but one would think that if you were drunk or fucked up, you would have mentioned that.
Now, the question
This just brings me back to my point, man. Like, all of her evidence, it's just he said, she said bullshit. It's just hearsay. Look, man, I'm not trying to set any like general rules or anything like that, man. That like, okay, look, I've never experienced that in my life. I hope I never do. I'm not even going to pretend that I do. I have heard like stories of people blacking stuff out, people blocking stuff out because it's just so horrific. So maybe something like that happened. But just on what I've read, what I've heard, you don't typically forget the details of that type of stuff.
I have to ask is why was this theory of alcohol and unable to consent not mentioned in the twit longer? I'm sure people going to have some issue with me just asking that question, but his lawyer's going to ask. The defendant Campbell's misconduct was so shocking and outrageous that it exceeds the reasonable bounds of decency as measured by what the average member of the community would tolerate and demonstrate in utter disregard by defendant Campbell of the consequences that would follow. Defendant Campbell knew that his reckless, extreme, and outrageous conduct would inflict severe emotional and psychological distress on her, and she did in fact suffer severe emotional, psychological distress as a result, including severe mental anguish, humiliation, emotional and physical distress. Now this may be, I hate to say like a cookie cutter thing, but this typically goes with the, infliction of emotional distress. However, if you want to make your case stronger, like if you say, hey, I had trouble sleeping, I went to therapy, things like that, this did happen in the Cardi B case, which played well for her. By the way of this reckless, extreme, and outrageous conduct.
I'll put it like this. The court isn't always about the truth. The court is about what you can prove. If you can't prove it, then it didn't happen in court. What this guy's saying, more examples of this shit is only going to make her case stronger.
Defendant Campbell gained access to her and SA'd her. As for a fourth cause of action, violations of this code, she wants a jury. And it looks like she just wants a bunch of money, award, and compensatory damages in the amount to be proved at trial by in any event in any in an amount that exceeds the jurisdictional limits of the lower courts, which would otherwise have jurisdictional to the extent permitted by law. She want money for punitive damages, lawyer fees.
Awarding punitive damages would be very, very hard to do so far because so punitive damages means that you can prove that the person you're suing did it to humiliate you. And so far, everything she said, nothing is solid. And Rich's lawyers could just be like, no, here's our side of the story. And it could just counter that. Nothing that she has said so far has been 100%. So awarding punitive damages would be very hard for her, in my opinion.
She want prejudgment interest and awarding such other further relief. The only thing I'm curious about this lawsuit is, the alcohol theory was obviously not mentioned in the twit longer. And why wait a year from now? Not sure. I'm sure people are going to have their theories. I'm sure she'll have something
That's a very
to say,
good question, actually.
But I'm also going to pose a question to Rich Campbell's lawsuit, which we're about to get into right now. Now we have Rich Campbell's lawsuit against her.
Okay.
Which he filed this on the 13th of December. He suing her for defamation, intentional interference with a contract, intentional interference with prospective contracts, negligent interference with prospective contracts.
Wait, don't they need proof? Okay, so when you sue someone for defamation, you can try to get punitive damages. And to prove punitive damages, you have to prove that the person you're suing did it maliciously. But getting punitive damages is hard. Like the person you're suing for punitive damages has to either be a severe idiot and make it very, very apparent that they're doing it, or you have to have like extremely solid proof.
Intentional infliction of emotional distress. And he also...
It should be easy. Oh, you're talking about Rich. Yeah, well, I don't know if Rich is suing her for punitive damages. She was suing him.
Wants a jury trial. Now, you see it was filed on the 13th.
Wait, hold on. He wants a jury...
He also wants a jury trial.
Wow.
Now...
Yeah, I got bad news for both of them, man. Unless they both fucking push it, which I don't know, they might. The lawyers and the judge will try to get them to settle out of court.
You see it was filed on the 13th. Comes plaintiff Richard William Campbell. In an individual, and he files the following complaint against Ailia Lexi. She's going to be known as Defendant or Lexi. Again, I blocked out her name. And if you see Lexi in the writing, it's because I put that there. And he's not only just suing her, he's suing does 1 through 10, which are any woman who made any allegations against him that, you know, that may have reached out to OTK.
Holy shit. If he is doing that, he has something, man. You don't go to that extreme unless you got something, man. If he was full of shit, he would have just stuck with her. But if he's got like hard evidence, he's going after everybody.
And say, hey, me too.
Was relayed to me by Lexi that as been communicated to her, there were several other victims and that there are corroborating factors in each story. She told me that she is also aware of one other victim that has a similar theater story to her.
So apparently I'm an idiot for not knowing the person I knew for several years was a literal, and for not assuming he would force himself on me. I mean, I'll take the advice and just start assuming every man is, but I thought y'all hated when we do that. Okay, so this is actually, man, this is, I don't know, man. It's a really sad tweet because you can know someone for years and not actually know them. It's one thing to not believe someone, but to go out of your way and call them like an idiot or a liar without knowing actual facts, that's just wrong, man. That's fucked up. I believe that you can think you truly know someone for years and not actually know them. I've actually experienced that in my life. One of my best friends, like I knew this guy for like 10 years, like stabbed me in the back and did a bunch of stupid shit. And that was after 10 years. But anyway, it's just this tweet is like really, it's like just sad.
She told me that she is also aware of one other victim that has a similar theater story to hers, and others that have stated he without consent.
So what does it say? This is an all too typical case of the super fan groupie who has consensual sex with her crush. In this case, a popular influencer demands more of her crush's time than he can give. And then when he rejects her demands for a serious relationship, retaliates against him by trying to tarnish his reputation and have him canceled by posting lies on the internet accusing him of rape. God damn.
This type of stuff happens. Is it happening in this case? I don't know. But this type of stuff does happen. When I was like 22 and 23, you know, I was like in a band. You know, you tour around, you know, sex, drugs, rock and roll. Now, look, man, obviously I never forced myself on anyone like that. None of that shit happened. You know, I'm not a piece of shit. But I have had girls lie to me. I had this one girl lie to me and tell me she was pregnant when she wasn't. And that's fucked up, man. And it happens, dude. When you're young, you're dumb, you're stupid, you know, it's gonna happen. That's what I'm saying. This type of stuff can happen.
Damn. Rich is a popular social media influencer, content creator, and digital talent for the video gaming community industry. You know, we know he's the founder of OTK, One True King. He previously hosted esports events and created content for various video games, including World of Warcraft. Unfortunately, he has found himself at the target of Lexi's vicious, repulsive, and conspicuously defamatory rants on social media. Specifically, Lexi, an online influencer, OnlyFans model, and gamer groupie, and specifically Campbell groupie, who has a history of making false rape allegations, now alleges that Campbell SA'd her when she invited herself over to his home after midnight, after a night on the town with their friends. Like, what?
Okay, this is huge. If they can prove this has a history of making false allegations, that is huge. If they can prove even just one, she's done. This is the first time I'm hearing this. I had no idea. Now again, this could also be bullshit. This could also be full of shit. This could just be like a scare tactic or something. But I'm saying that if this is real, then she's done.
Whoa, I mean, looking at those text messages, it can actually go either way. Here are the text messages, you know, where it's like, hey, are you in New York? Yeah, you know, oh, Ish, how long? Would it be cool to hang? Oh, what you doing tonight? You know, she like, look, I'm here, but I'm leaving tomorrow. You know, me and my friends are just at a bar, which, you know, shows that she's drinking for a bit. No formal plans, just catching up a bit. He says, if you want to hang out later, let me know. I was already in bed. I would catch up with you but it's okay if you're already in bed. Would you want to come chill here? It's okay. I don't think that's something I'm comfortable with. So it more, hey, I would love to see you. Too bad you're already out of commission, but no worries. He's trying to get her to come over. So
definitely.
He's like, hey, I got a little movie theater in my building. Would you want to chill there? I don't have a trek in me to go out this late, but that way we could chill and it's not in my apartment. So, the goal is to get her on the property. Get her on the property. Yeah. And you can see what will happen. Maybe she changed her mind. You never know. But it sounds like, from her testimony that she didn't. More, hey, when would you want to come? He's excited to see her. I'm going to stay up. I'm so excited. Seriously, if it's too late, not a problem. I don't want you to wait around if you're going to go to bed. I'll wait up. Send me a pic and it'll help me stay up. Okay.
Shit.
LMNO, Rich, seriously. What? I want to see your face. I know what that's like. And here she goes. She said, hey, I'll be there. Do you still want me to come by? Now, I believe this is 3 hours ahead of time because of the time change. So it's really 12:13. She says, hey, I'll be there by 12:40. Okay. Is that okay? Or should I just stay in Manhattan? He's like, come over. So she, she bring herself over.
He wants some ass.
Now let's get back to his lawsuit. A vindictive Lexi made over a dozen social media posts and comments between December 15th, 2022 and June 29th, 2023, claiming that Campbell raped her. Her claims are ludicrous and an absolute lie. And I said, hey, this is interesting considering like when this first came out, no one was supposed to say that she lied. But now you got the person involved saying, hey, she lied. This is going.
I do think there's a valid reason. What could have happened was right when he was accused of all this shit, he probably lawyered up immediately, and his lawyer probably told him to not say anything, because I can tell you right now that silence is better than anything. I know that might seem stupid because of situations like this. Think about it like talking to the cops. What should you do whenever the cops ask you anything? You don't say shit. If you're smart, you say nothing. Sometimes you're emotional. I'm sure he was fucking pissed, and he probably wanted to say a bunch of shit, but his lawyer probably told him, shut your fucking mouth. Do not say anything until I tell you to. People think just because he hasn't said anything, that automatically makes him guilty, and people don't realize that that's actually the smart thing to do. Anyway.
This is going to get a little hairy. Now, he gives the backstory. The parties first met in or around 2018, and by 2019 engaged in consensual intercourse on numerous occasions. Lexi would often fly to various U.S. cities to see Rich perform at various esports events like Call of Duty League. During many of these trips, the two would engage in consensual intercourse. By Lexi's own admission, her relationship with Campbell was sexual in nature.
Yeah, they're fuck buddies.
And although she wanted more of a commitment, Campbell explained to her that he was not in that position to get into a serious relationship. This bothered her, and she frequently brought it up to Campbell, which often resulted in a verbal argument. On or about January 30th, Lexi was having dinner with her two friends in Brooklyn, New York, where Campbell lived. And this is right, guys. When you start having intercourse with these women, they get emotionally attached, and naturally, some of them want more. And when you keep in their mind, y'all may be together, so it could be some turmoil. Let's get back to the lawsuit. Now,
this is one thing I said like a year later, or like a year earlier. She probably was his fuck buddy for a while because she wanted to be with him, and she was thinking that it could change, but because it didn't change, she got super pissed, and then she said all this shit. Now, that is one thing that could happen. Do I think that's what happened? I think to a certain degree, that's what happened. I think that because both of their stories, they both agree that they were fuck buddies for years, and they also both agree that they wanted, or that she wanted more. That seems consistent between both of them.
I think this date, this was about to be said, is only a piece of what happened that night. After dinner, she went to his apartment. Now, this is his side of the story, but this is not the part where he introduces the key witness. After dinner...
Oh shit, there's a key witness, okay.
After dinner, she went to Campbell's apartment at midnight. Approximately an hour after arriving at his apartment, the two engaged in consensual intercourse. So now you see he's saying, hey,
Yeah.
it was consensual.
Okay, here's where they have to actually have fucking proof. So far, neither one of them has had solid proof.
While laying on the bed afterwards, Lexi again broached the subject of wanting a long-term relationship with Rich. Rich again told Lexi, nope. No.
Yep.
He was not looking for that.
Yep.
Not looking for a long-term relationship. She got angry. She got upset. This is according to
This is more consistent, actually. Like, his side is more consistent. They both mentioned that they would get into arguments about this. And this is more consistent with what they have said previously.
his testimony. Lexi started to scream at Campbell and threaten him. Due to her belligerent behavior, Rich said he did not want her to spend the night, as he had to get up early in the morning, and he did not want to be up all night rehashing the same old subject. So this is an argument that they have.
Okay, all right, I'm gonna be blunt. Let's say me and you, we go out on a date, and we go somewhere nice. We go to the hair salon, and we both get our hair did. We then go and eat seafood dinner. We have a lovely night together, and then we come back to my place, and we do a little bit of Netflix and chill. And the Netflix and chill, now we're doing like 10% Netflix, 90% chilling. Okay, so we're like, we're doing that kind of stuff. And, one thing leads to another, and then a nipple is exposed. And then after that, a boobie is exposed. And then after that, a dick is exposed. Okay? And then we have a lovely night of passion. Now, I don't speak for every gentleman in the chat, but me personally, when I blow my load, I'm fucking done. I just want to lay there and pass the fuck out. You can stay or you can go. Preferably you stay, because I'm actually kind of a softie. I prefer cuddling. But when I blow my load and it's just all over your face and titty, okay, when we're laying there, I actually don't give the Uber tap. You guys know the Uber tap? It's when you're like, let's get you an Uber. I actually don't do that. Dude, I'm so tired. I'm so exhausted. I just want to lay there and go to sleep. Now, I can't speak for him. I can't speak for anybody else, but this is believable.
On and off. Early in the morning, and he did not want to be up all night rehashing the same old subject. So this is an argument that they have on and off. Lexi refused to leave the apartment at first and then angrily stormed out of the apartment. Angrily stormed out. The two did not get together again.
Okay, all I'm saying, man, is that after doing the deed, if she can walk, what the fuck are you doing, man? What's going on? What the fuck are you doing? No, I'm just kidding.
Again, after that night, nearly a year later, on December 15th and 16th, a scorned Lexi posted on her Twitter addressed that Campbell has aided and raped her on January 30th, 2022. God damn. Jesus. So now what do you guys think? Where he's saying, hey, we had consensual intercourse. She tried to talk that relationship talk. I said no, like I normally do. She got upset. And as a result, I asked her to leave. She left angrily. But
anybody that's ever been in a relationship where you're a fuck buddy and one of you likes the other more or wants something more than the other, this is a believable story. I feel like sometimes the internet forgets that there's different types of relationship. Like, not every relationship is a monogamous relationship, and it's okay. It's okay to be in a fuck buddy relationship. It's okay to be in an open relationship. We're all adults here. As long as everything is understood, legal, consensual, there's nothing wrong with it.
But now, a year later, or almost a year later, she accused him of essaying grape. This is new stuff, right? This is new stuff. On June 20th and 29th, Lexi, shamelessly looking to capitalize on others' fame, posted a twit-longer page of Campbell's celebrity girlfriend, Mia Malkova, a resident of California, who at the time had approximately 11 million Instagram followers, 3 million Twitter followers, 2 million on TikTok. His girlfriend, she out here.
Get your money up, not your funny up.
Jesus. That her boyfriend, Rich, was a grapist. At the time, Malkova's social media post was a photo of Campbell's that read, "I love Rich Campbell." Lexi posts were read thousands of times, if not higher, And Campbell's alleges on information and belief that Lexi intended the post to be understood as referring to Campbell, that in fact many individuals who read Lexi's defamatory post understood she was talking about Rich. So now you got the scorned ex-lover commenting under the new person's photo that he owns some other stuff. All right, this is some petty stuff. I mean, it's horrible.
I mean, but the thing is like, this sounds believable, man. Look, before I finish what I was going to say, I just want to add this in here. He could be a piece of shit and been lying to her the whole time. So what do I mean by that? I mean that, like, let's say that they're fuck buddies and she brings it up. He could be gaslighting her. He could be saying stuff like, oh no, I'll be ready soon. You know, I want to get together. You know, I'll be ready soon. I'm just not ready right now. He could have been leading her on, but neither one of them said that. They both said that he always said that he didn't want that. There has to be a reason why that if she wanted that and she didn't get it, why she stuck with him for so long. And this sounds believable to me. She was pissed that he got with Mia instead of her, because this whole time that they've been together, he was telling her, no, I don't want a relationship. No, I don't want a relationship. And then he gets with her. This sounds believable to me.
As a result of Lexi's defamatory statements, Campbell's partners at OTK asked him to step down from his lucrative job as a social media influencer. He lost valuable sponsorships. He was essentially canceled. Based on his earnings in 22 alone, he was expected to make $1.8 million
I got money.
in 2023 through Twitch revenue and contracted sponsorship. Rich Campbell's management forecasted approximately $1.3 million in 2023 sponsorship revenue, and he had been on track to make $500,000 for in Twitch revenue. Campbell has not been paid a single dollar since Lexi's defamatory statement, while Lexi has gained a social media followers by making her defamatory claims. Now look, he done lost 3.6 million.
So again, going back to, you know, some of those other content creators were like, she has nothing to gain. Again, she has money to gain. She has followers to gain. You don't understand the people that follow her on Twitter because of all this allegations. They're going to go to her OnlyFans. She's hot. You know, they're going to go to her OnlyFans. There's potential money there. Like, basically, there are a lot of reasons to do what she did. Like, that's not even including the pure revenge reason of her being pissed. There's also other reasons too. So when people say, oh, that she has nothing to gain, it just shut the fuck up. Like, yes, she has things to gain.
In dollars, god damn. I mean, this goes to show you that all it takes is one allegation, and your whole life can be turned upside down. Even if the allegation is not true. I mean, we don't know if it's true or not. I mean, that's going to be for the courts to decide based on the evidence available, I would imagine. $3.6 million gone. Lexi is simply a scorned ex-lover who is upset that her interactions with Rich Campbell ended and is now striking back in an attempt to damage the reputations of Campbell and OTK. She is accomplishing her goal. Campbell wants nothing more than to leave this behind, this painful history with Lexi, who has a track record, of attempting to harm men by making false allegations.
Okay, yeah, this is the second time that they've mentioned that she has done this in the past. Now, they haven't given proof. Now, right now, this isn't discovery portion. This is just the outline of the lawsuit. This probably isn't going to list any hard evidence. I mean, it might, but basically what I'm trying to say is just because it doesn't list the hard evidence doesn't mean that it isn't there.
To cancel him. Oh, snap. Therefore, Campbell seeks legal action against Lexi to reclaim his reputation and unveil Lexi as a fraud for once and all. While Campbell supports free speech, he does not condone malicious lies from a vengeful ex-lover who was hell-bent on destroying his life. Lexi must be held accountable for the blatant falsehoods and disseminating on the internet, which have been viewed by hundreds of thousands, if not millions of individuals, including sponsors, his friends, his family, fans, as well as OTK's millions of followers. So he's still looking, seem like he's looking out for the organization, but
if they can prove that she did that one other time, she's fucking done.
Jesus, we're just on the tip of the iceberg at this point. Now, we don't really need to read parties and jurisdiction. I mean, it is what it is, but there were some highlights from it. You know, he talks about his 608,000 Twitch followers and 217K Twitter followers. He's since lost a significant amount of that since then. But this is how he goes on to describe her. When there's about to be a little bit of hearsay, if you will, he's trying to paint a picture. She is a former flight attendant and current social media influencer, Twitch streamer, content creator, digital creator, self-proclaimed world traveler, gamer girl, and OnlyFans model. Oh man. At all relevant times, her friends and acquaintances
What does it matter if she has an OF? How are these things negative though? I don't know. Maybe I'm misunderstanding. Maybe I'm missing something. But I don't think how any of these are like, why would these make her look bad? I don't know. Whatever.
Describe her as jealous. Says she embellishes stories to make herself sound cool, is promiscuous, and very open about her sexual exploits, constantly searching for a boyfriend, fishes for compliments, and often makes her body the topic of discussion. Now, this is all of course, hearsay, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I get the picture he's trying to paint, but it's just unnecessary to me. He talks about her website, her followers on TikTok, Instagram, all that good stuff. But there's a line that stood out to me. She has posted online that she needs to find a sugar daddy and calling men derogatory names.
I'm in a bind.
She could be in a bind.
Where are the
she
examples?
She is no stranger to fabricating rape allegations against people who upset her. Campbell alleges information and belief that in 2017, she claimed her friend's boyfriend, now husband, SA'd her and tore her pants.
Whoa, hold on. Claimed her friend's boyfriend and now husband. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay.
Pants off in the process. Individuals with Lexi during the alleged incident have stated nothing like that ever happened. So, like, who is this husband?
Oh, wow. Okay. So actually, this is very, very important. This says individuals with Lexi during the alleged incident have stated that nothing like that has happened. So this means that they can prove that she lied about this. And if she lied about this, then she might be lying about the other things. See, this is important. Okay, will these people come forward for Rich Campbell?
Who was his friend? And, you know, with these cases like this, when these allegations are made, will these people come forward and testify on Rich Campbell to establish, hey, this pattern of false allegating? The answer is probably nope. No, people don't want to get involved. Lexi is committing her defamatory attacks knowingly.
Weird how Asmongold didn't react to this video. I mean, honestly, man, like if you guys thought that Asmon was stopped talking to Rich, you guys are foolish. Like they're best friends, man, or they're really close friends. Asmon may have received legal advice to not react to this video. Asmon's lawyer probably could have been like, yo, I want you to stay away from this. Yeah, he already said he's not talking about it because it's legal stuff. Exactly. Going back to this part right here, guys. Individuals with Lexi during the alleged incident have stated that nothing like this ever happened. Okay, so let's say that you have let's just say that there's like 4 people involved in this. If they can prove that Lexi was there with them and they all have the same collaborating story, that is hard evidence. I guess it's either hard evidence or it's a conspiracy, one or the other.
Defamatory attacks knowingly, purposefully, and intentionally targeting and directing her activities towards the state's residents, including Campbell's girlfriend, Malkova, and the intent to harm his reputation, disrupt his business. So in doing so, Lexi availed herself on this forum and created a controversy which arises out of her contacts with the state, which is, you know, fair play and substantial justice mandate personal jurisdiction. So I blocked out which state this is in just to kind of like protect all parties. I know this is a very high charge case and people may feel a certain way, one way or the other. And I just don't want people to be getting harassed. But will she argue jurisdiction? Like this lawsuit gets deeper as we go deeper into it. Okay, now look, here's another part. He will seek leave of this court to amend his complaint to allege the true names and capacities of such defendants when the same have been asserted. So what is he basically saying, guys? Is as soon as he gets the names of all the other people who made false claims against him, he will add them to the lawsuit, and maybe more witnesses too, if you can get those statements. So he's leaving the door open to add to his original complaint. All right, now this is all skippable stuff. Now let's get to the facts common to all causes of action. So now
oh
you're about
God,
to get
Asmon's
like
in the
detailed
lawsuit.
history, but we're not going to read everything. We're just going to read the important parts. Okay. So he talks about, hey, 2018 streaming and content creation. He was a successful business. It was for him. He leveled up quickly, fastly, going from playing World of Warcraft to hosting World of Warcraft games, Call of Duty, Dota, H1Z1. He even, grew in his stream, and he eventually started a podcast with fellow gamer Asmongo, Allcraft, I believe is the name of the podcast.
Another thing to think about, guys, is if someone is trying to defame you and you have a court case against someone, you want to fuck them as hard as possible. And how do you fuck them as hard as possible? You delay the flow of information for as long as possible. Let's say that he gave you updates on the case and he's like, oh, we got another witness. Well, if she would have saw that, she could have talked to that witness, maybe got that witness to change sides. When you present something to the court like this, you want to have as much evidence as humanly possible, and you want the other party to be completely caught off guard. It was good for him to shut the fuck up and collect all the information that he possibly could without the other party know. And this just isn't for him and her. This is for anybody. If you're ever in a legal battle with anybody, you keep as much information from the other person as possible, and then you spring it all on him on court. That's what you do.
Is now one of the biggest names in the gaming on the internet, which he is. And, you have to wonder, do they still talk? Are they still best friends? I know Asmongo
they are good friends.
Cooperate with anyone who files legal action against him.
I would assume
to
that
the
they
fullest
were.
extent on both sides. So you have to beg the question. There's rumored that there were other victims who came forward and made allegations against Rich that communicated exclusively with Asmongo. So will he give Rich those names if legally requested?
As a public figure, is there any good reason not to make a short statement that the allegations are false? Seems like that would save some of his image. He did make a short statement.
I encourage any of the people that were affected by Rich and any of these things to seriously consider legal recourse. And of course, if that happens, I will comply in any way I can, limited as it may be. Again, this is not drama. These could be actual crimes.
Dude, this is just so stupid, man, that he said that. I can't believe he said that, man. Like, Asmon, I love you, man, but dude, just stop pretending this isn't drama, because when you say shit like that, dumbass individuals are just gonna fucking repeat it. This isn't drama, this is legal. Well, you sure weren't saying that during Johnny Depp, were you? No, you weren't. You weren't saying that at all. Okay, no, because because the shit that happened with Johnny Depp is nowhere near as stuff that's happening with your friend Rich. Right? Okay, shut the fuck up, man. Like, why would you say that, dude? Like, you were front and center cheering fucking Johnny Depp on, man. Like, dude, fuck off, bro. Like, man, dude, don't get me wrong, man. I think Asmon's funny. I like Asmon a lot. But, man, he really needs to think about some of the stuff he says sometimes, because your fan base will just parrot you and repeat it, even if it's fucking dumb. Okay?
During this period in his life, Campbell was constantly...
Yes, the Rich shit is drama. Just because he's your friend doesn't make it not drama. The Johnny Depp and shit, that was drama. It's all drama.
Traveling, he was a workaholic, guys. This guy was in Ohio one day, then he would be in Vegas, then California, then Texas, Then he would go to Europe for Warcraft. You know, he worked a lot. He worked a lot. But this is when he meets Lexi.